that 500,000 you forgot to mention was in 1969. If I'd only done it, I could have bought and sold everyone in this damn room. And it's a big room. You know, it's very hard to come up and then pretend that you deserve everything that Jim said. I think I learned the politics in my own skin because I grew up in Detroit, inner city with Southern parents. I went every summer to rural Kentucky. And the people that lived in our apartment house were so diverse, and I lived in a predominantly black neighborhood. I was constantly proselytized and propagandized by every political stripe in the building: communist, reactionary, radical, conservative, apolitical, educated people, uneducated. It was unbelievable. And of course, the real bottom line was that my parents were working class, came up to the north so my dad could work. And I saw so many human beings doing so many different things, and they were all so essentially the same. They were just as noble and just as base and just as funny and tragic and feeble and frail, and all of them mixed up together. So it was very hard for me to be judgmental about any one of them. And somehow, you know, that's almost part of what PDA is about. Is, well, for instance, the fact that PDA is willing to work so closely grassroots and try to work with the most diverse kind of range of humanity to get something done, to make something really happen. I mean, growing up in Detroit, my mother, probably like you, I don't even know how you get to politics when you grow up at a time when your parents tell you that the people in Washington wouldn't be there if they didn't know what they were doing. And and if you buy into that, you go a long time, you know, in a kind of numbskulled way, accepting what's going on. I didn't probably last as long as others, but because of my exposure to people as it was. But when I looked at Washington, I knew that idealism was not a realistic goal. But I saw, too, that cynicism was just as foolish. And besides, right on, you know, maybe I'll be president of this group. I don't. I'm teasing my meme. So, and anyway, these days, Jim Hightower and I were talking before the show, and he told me about one of the lines of mine that he uses, and I said, don't use it today, I'm going to use it. And that line is, no matter how cynical you become, it's never enough to keep up. So I put idealism and cynicism to the side. And anyway, with the greedy, obstructionist, backward-thinking nincompoops that are in Congress, I began to feel more and more that the hope of Obama was looking more and more like wishful thinking. So we had to do something. Somebody has to do something, and PDA has been doing it. I first met Mimi, one of your esteemed founding members and my friend. At a house party that was thrown for Dr. Helen Caldecott. And Dr. Caldecott was on tour at that time asking Americans why we had elected George Bush to the presidency and had we all gone crazy. And I, of course, I thought we were crazy both times, so I had to think, now, is she talking about the Lee Atwater Bush, or is she talking about the Karl Rove Bush? And then I realized it was the 2000 Bush, the election that Al Gore won. And,
Exactly.
And I heard that Mimi saying to Dr. Caldecott, no, that was election fraud. And yes, that's right. And I heard that, and I looked across the room at you. And in that shared moment, I saw that we both had moist eyes in our despair and our utter abject shame at having been living in a country where Bush had been elected president. And in that moment, I felt so at one with you, and I thought we had such a meaningful connection, so I don't know how in the world you could betray me by inviting me and luring me here today by telling me that they were doing a remake of Beverly Hillbillies. But bringing up that subject, what are we going to do about Texas Gold and Tea Party tea and climate change? Okay, I digress. I have a lot of stuff here to say, but
we're glad. Take your time.
No, don't get too overwhelmed. You know, I mean, like most of you, probably in 2000, I was filled with despair, and when we elected George Bush to the White House, and I was even more disappointed and sad when we didn't elect him. God damn it, you're right. Stand up. We did not elect him. I misused a phrase, commonly one by which we're all bamboozled. They all thought we elected him. They didn't. He was kind of selected by a Supreme Court that was aiding and abetting voter fraud. I'm going to rent a room in your house in D.C., Tom. I have missed my calling working on television. Anyway, I don't have to say. Here's what I really think. This is what I love about PDA. PDA knows sometimes things get so bad you just want to crawl into bed and pull the covers over your head. But PDA also knows that you have to attract strange bedfellows.
Oh, yeah. It's true.
And then when you have such an alliance with these strange bedfellows, you can go out and, by God, you can do big things. And that's what PDA is doing, and that's what they did in helping. They made huge Democratic gains in the 2006, the 2008, the 2012 elections. Yes, okay, 2010, that was a speed bump. The damn Koch brothers and the Tea Party. They threw money at corruption and disease and hideous other things that go on in this world and this life. And you know, I was talking to myself, because that's usually what I have to do, and I was saying to myself, you know, I stopped thinking about changing the world when I was about 36, and today it's sort of reborn in my breast, the desire to change the world. You know, Mimi says you're with family. No, you've got to reach out beyond your family.
Well,
let me just say to you, what does progressive mean? Okay, does it mean the kind of evening where you progress from cocktails across the street to bringing the gang back to your house for dinner, to going around the corner for dessert, and then maybe end up somewhere else for a nightcap, picking up friends and neighbors along the way? That's one kind of progressive, and it's sort of how PDA started. Reflect on that, picking up friends and neighbors. That's a good starting place. But there's more to it than that. There's progressive income tax, a worthy goal.
Yes.
There's also progressive rock. Yeah. One of my favorites, progressive jackpots. And of course, unfortunately, there's progressive illness, which our Republican brothers and sisters have caught it. And that's ironic, because they're the ones who are denying us health care. Yeah, okay, I can get to those things. Okay, you were shot. Wait a minute. This is Controlled Healthcare Insurance Corp. Claims Department, Lily Tomlin speaking. Remember, an apple a day keeps the doctor away. So does being poor. You say you were shot in a subway? Next time, eat at Quiznos. Okay. Anyway, you guys are so dear. I really do feel you're dear. You still have a kernel of belief left in you. It means something. It means a lot in this day and age. I'm looking to see what you're going to buy here. Let me just say this. You know, I talked about friends and neighbors and gathering people in, and once you become worried that you can't change the world, but you can change the mind of your neighbor. And that neighbor can change the mind of another neighbor. And what's so astounding about PDA is we have a committee in every congressional district in the country doing just that. So this incredible grassroots organization is so important, so profound, and the fact that you support it and that you will be there for them, and you must bring in more people. We've got to fix what's going on in this world. There's so much stuff. I tried to make a list, and it was so gigantic. Let me see if I can even see some of it. You know, the Keystone Pipeline, Syria, Haiti, fracking, healthcare, climate change, contraception, college interest rates. I just heard this thing about a lot of Republicans, conservatives won't lower college interest rates because, did you hear their thinking? More women will get degrees that will allow them to enter the job market, and they will get more abortions. Well, I think it's true. I personally subscribe to that. You know, don't ask someone here and ask them to behave. You're supposed to have a free spirit. Okay, I'm going to wind this up here. Somehow. These papers do not, they just stick together, you know? Like those damn, you know, well, anyway, I was looking at all that bad stuff, and I thought, you know, you cannot tell them all that stuff like climate change and everything because it's just too much of a downer. Well, I've got good news. Michelle Bachmann is not running again. Oh, gosh. You know, I like this place. We've had fun here today and everything. There's a lot of good-looking food, but there's no hard liquor. Jim and I were talking about that, Jim Hightower and I. We definitely need some bourbon. You know, I want to read you a quote that means a lot to me, and I hope it means something to you. Barbara Deming, an early and relentless advocate of nonviolent theory and social justice. This is how I see you, Mimi. I went poll watching with Mimi one night. It was daunting, but we did it. Of course, I haven't done it since, but I'm so, what? You'll get me back. Does anything I've said mean anything? Okay. With one hand, okay, Barbara Deming said this. With one hand, we say to one who is angry or to an oppressor or to an unjust system, stop what you are doing. I refuse to honor the role you are choosing to play. I refuse to obey you. I refuse to cooperate with your demands. I refuse to build the walls and the bombs. I refuse to pay for the guns. With this hand, I will even interfere with the wrong you are doing. I want to disrupt the easy pattern of your life. And then the advocate of change raises the other hand, and it is raised outstretched. Maybe with love and sympathy, maybe not, but always outstretched. With this hand, we say, I won't let go of you or cast you out of the human race. I have faith that you can make a better choice than you are making now, and I'll be here when you are ready. Like it or not, we are part of one another. So PDA is leading the way, and what have we got to lose? Just about everything. So let's not do that.